Okay, so we're going to be covering more in this class than what I have. I've put it in like little parts. Um, but the first part of it, we're going to be going over like credit reporting agencies, common violations, consumer law review, and how to read like credit reports from top to bottom. But it's going to be like a gist of things. Um, and then I just want to my intention of this class is not to be one of those people that's like, you got to know all the United States codes. You got to study the system because eventually you're going to be tested on it. Like, you're actually not. Most people in their life do not deal with the police. They do not deal with the courts. They do not deal with contracts that have to have lawyers, that have to have, you know, that kind of thing going on. So, there's a lot of people that got themselves involved in those types of things and then got themselves out of those types of things and then are teaching that that is the way to get out of the system. And everyone is different. Everyone has a different way of living their life. And some people want to live their life with some of these corporations. Like they like going to Walmart, they like supporting Starbucks, they like supporting certain corporations that maybe others don't. They like supporting, but maybe they don't support the courts, they don't support certain things, but that is up to the individual of who you want to contract with in your life. So I'm not here to bog you down with corporation codes, which are the longest standing codes, which is what we've kind of gone over with the history of things and like English, and then it being, translated into corporate codes when the Constitution became the Constitution of the United States of America in 1871. So basically, my intention is to actually empower the individual in all of us to know that we are the creator of contracts, and I'm going to be utilizing some corporate codes to confirm that for you, to confirm that even in the codes of the government and the corporations and all that, that you are also the creator of your contracts. So we're really going to be going over how to get into conversation with the people that you're in contract with, and then have kind of discernment whether you want to keep contracting with these businesses or whether they make it too difficult. Because like I've also gone over, all the corporations have their own rules, their own parameters, their own belief system for you to do business with them. And we were all given a birth certificate that was, connected to a straw man or whatever. And our parents signed us up to be the beneficiaries of the contract of, our parents sign us up to be citizens, therefore the child can benefit. We are also the executors of these trusts, and the government is meant to be the trustee. Okay, so basically, I'm not here to bash the system. I'm not here to tell anyone how to utilize, that you have to utilize the systems. I'm just going to be going over the most neutral ways that I've found to get in and out of corporations, while remaining in your integrity. Okay. So yeah, the bar is really what we're at war with when it comes to contracts, which the bar is the British Accredited Registry, which is basically the contracts that we're in. The contracts that we're in are basically our lawyers, okay? They are what are speaking for us. They are what are representing us. And the British teaching system is memorize all the information and we're going to test you on it later. So people can get really bogged down with how much information there is about, because they basically codified life, the government, in over 100 years. They've codified the government in the Supreme Court. They claim the government is the imagination. So like, if you can imagine that, the governmental codes of the corporation have codified every thought that could have possibly happened. There's a code for it. So not a lot of them matter, because as we are well aware, when we really tune into thoughts, a lot of them don't actually matter. They were just thoughts. Okay. So in real life, not in the governmental creation of the control of the mind, in what's happening right in front of somebody, we are the creator of the contracts that we're in. Okay. uh this is, you are created in the image of the Most High. You are a millionaire. You are financially free. You are a boss. You are an entrepreneur. You are beautiful on the inside out. You are a goddess or a god, just like your creator. You are a people that holds a lot of power. You are a consumer. You are a creditor, and you are a people. That's just a little reminder there. Knowing the difference between TILA, FDCPA, FCRA, ECOA, like these are all just the different things that have been created to protect us as a people. Because basically, again, the government did, or the corporation is still, they still have to abide by the United States corporation that created these codes still has to abide by the first 12 amendments. It's only the 13th and 14th and the ones after that they kind of like made up and are ingraining onto people. And so basically, because people are not aware of the actual codes that have been created to protect the people, it's very easy for governmental agencies or corporations to program people with that their statutes and codes are law. Okay, when they're not. The statutes and the codes that the governments create and all these things, that these USC codes and all this and that, none of those are law. Law is don't infringe on me and I won't infringe on you. Okay, that is law of the land. Common law of the land. Don't infringe on me and I won't infringe on you. If you infringe on me, I have the right to infringe on you if I so please, but I would prefer, we would prefer forgiveness, love thy neighbor, understand, 10 commandments, understand they don't know what they do, they're just upset, let them be upset, allow them to express, even if they're blaming us for something, it's okay, like 10 commandments. Those are not things that need to be written down. These are basic respect that was written down. Okay. And over time, because these things were written down and no longer being taught, over time, people have stopped respecting people. Okay. So when we deal with these corporations, it is of the utmost vital importance to respect them for what they are, which is, yeah, it's a bunch of corpses in a corporation, a bunch of dead minds that are programmed. Yes, you can see it that way, but those minds have chosen that. Those minds went to school for it. They, whatever they did in their life to decide that that's where they want to sit from 9 to 5 every day, whatever, that's their choice. Okay. So when we come into dealing with companies, instead of coming from a space of I'm in control, I know more than you, I am free and you're controlling me, coming from a space of, okay, I've actually come to realize that I didn't know I had all these rights because I was listening to all this other stuff, these statutes and these things and what people have been voting for and what I've been told is the law. And okay, so it's a lot more simple than that. And I've gotten myself involved in some things. But the practical uses on this planet, at least in America, I could speak as if it's cool to have a good credit score. And when you have a good credit score, that tells people that, or that tells systems that you know how to handle your affairs on a pretty decent level. And but over time, there has been corruption within the systems, and basically there are things being furbished on credit reports that aren't supposed to be furbished on there. So it's destroying people's credits and it's taking away their right to unlimited credit, which is what's available with the correctly working system, corporation, United States corporation that's in front of us. Okay. Um, a lot of people are incorrectly utilizing the United States corporation because they don't understand it. They think it's there to protect our rights when no, it is there to understand how to contract with other people and businesses and how to do business as an all caps name. Why? Because our spirits can't be seen by everyone. So the government can't tell you how to spiritually live your life. Okay? Because our spirit, only God can speak to us on an individual level. So the government can't tell you how to live spiritually because they don't know. Um, a lot of people don't have that connection with their inside, so they've been asking the government for a long time to teach them how to live spiritually, all these things, and this corporation doesn't really know how to do that, but it's created all these statutes and codes to keep people's spirits in line. And so basically, I'm going to be going over how the United States corporation can be a tool in your life, or it can be something that holds you down. Oh my God, they're terrible. Oh my God, whatever. It can be whatever you want. Okay, so here is one of the major codes. There is consumer credit protection. What is credit? Oh, and actually, um, I have these. Do I have it? I think I have it pulled up. Yeah. So 16, what is credit? So credit means the right granted by a creditor to a debtor to defer payment of debt or to incur debt and defer its payment. Okay. What is a consumer? Yeah. A consumer means any natural person obligated or allegedly obligated to pay any debt. And it does say person because in the corporation, they call your corporation a person, okay? So that they can know the difference of what they're talking about. That they are not talking about they're not trying to tell you who your living person is, or your living people is, only who your natural person is. So as a consumer, you are a person obligated or allegedly obligated to pay any debt of any contract that you get into, even as simple as, if you tell someone you borrow something and you tell them you're going to give it back, you are obligated to pay that debt and give it back. That, in life is something that is expected, to keep your word. Okay. Now, what is a consumer report? So that's 1681. 1681B. Just make sure that's correct. Yeah. Okay, so consumer reports, permissible purposes of consumer reports. So basically, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. In response, in order to the court having jurisdiction to issue such an order, a subpoena issued connections with proceeding before a federal grand jury, or a subpoena issued in accordance with that section. 2, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to who it relates. Right here, you guys. In accordance with the written instructions of the consumer. Meaning, remember, we just looked up what consumer was. That's you guys. So you guys are the ones that gets to decide what gets furnished on your consumer report. Okay? So, and this is to a person which it has a reason to believe. So like a person could pull up put something on your credit reporting agency if it's a credit transaction, intends to use the information for employment purposes. Like they can ask for your credit reporting your credit report. Like there's different reasons that it can be asked for. But to actually put anything on that report, it's you guys are the one that creates that. Okay. That's it's because of this unawareness is where corporations' awareness of this has been able to take advantage of consumers and create like, oh, let me help you repair your credit. Let me, help you do this, when really they ask for your credit report and then they write letters to the credit reporting agencies and just charge you for it, which is fine. Sometimes people don't want to do it. People can do it for you. It's great. It's a great service. But this is what's happening in the background. They're just going for those. So what are the credit reporting agencies? We kind of just went over that. They are an assumed vital role. Okay. So I'm going to go to that one, 15 USC 1681. A 1681. And you can see it's pretty Yeah, so here we go. Accuracy and fairness of credit reporting. The Congress makes the following findings. The banking system is dependent on fair and accurate credit reporting. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. Okay, so basically, if you guys aren't getting your stuff furbished correctly on there, and they're putting on negative things like they're not following HJR 192 because they just don't know. You guys, this stuff was written down a long time ago. It was written down in like the 60s. So they're not teaching this elaborate system in schools. Okay, so as we slowly learn the corporation system, you can either decide to utilize it because it's the biggest one in America, or you can, you can choose to use other ones. It's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But an elaborate mechanism has been developed for investigating and evaluating the credit worthiness, credit standing, credit capacity, character, and general reputation of the consumers. So that is the consumer reporting agencies have assumed a vital role in assembling and evaluating consumer credit and other information on consumers. Assumed, okay? They've created it all because it was necessary. So it's really up to us to assume the role of assembling and evaluating your credit and what you want furbished or furnished on your credit report. There is a need to ensure that consumer reported agencies exercise their grave responsibilities with fairness, impartiality, and a respect for the consumer's right to privacy. So this is kind of talking on third party debt collectors, which we'll be getting into. Okay, these are third-party credit reporting agencies: LexisNexis, CheckSystem, Pacer, CoreLogic. If you're dealing with, if you're dealing with anything and you're not building your credit right now, freezing your credit is an option to like let them know, just stop doing anything with it. These are credit monitoring services if you like those. Okay, so this is just like a little thing. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. Basically every mortgage and loan is fully repaid from day one. You can pay it again if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm gonna go in to these specific laws. Common violations. Did I have? I think I have 1681. Yeah, 1681B. B. B2. Okay, so oh yeah, so this is that it's actually A2, but in accordance with written to instructions to the consumer and who it relates. So basically this is it's just more empowerment of that. You guys are the creators. Yeah. So the investigative report, you guys are the ones that get to furbish it. certain public record information. So if you go on your credit report, sometimes they have like 3 different names for you. They have phone numbers from your past. They have every address that you've ever lived at. All of that can be removed. Okay, all of that with a letter to Experian or wait, what are they called? The credit reporting agencies, yeah, Experian,
Equifax.
TransUnion, yeah, Equifax, like literally just yes, TransUnion, writing letters, and I will be sending out templates that I've created just based off of when I've taken classes on this and then had to write them up for myself. So I'm going to be sending you those templates in the email to remove any public, you get to create what you want on there. Because this is basically your resume to access, to be the beneficiary of your SDK trust without having to do all this work to becoming the executor or whatever. Like you can benefit from it because you're the beneficiary. So it's it's a lot simpler to go about it by cleaning up your credit and making your resume look good. Just like when you do at a job, your credit report is your resume to access your unlimited credit. Okay, so communication with debt collectors. Okay, this is huge. It's really important to know who's coming to you, who is actually asking for the debt. Okay, are there letters coming to you? Like I have this, it's a medical bill that's still coming to my mom's house, and it's from Hogue, and it's to me, and I'll deal with it when I deal with it. But the thing is we get to decide when we receive something. There's even something called a received stamp. Okay, and these debt collectors, they're just sending letters out. They're sending letters out. They don't know if they're actually getting to you. They don't know these things. We are the ones that decide what people get to know about us, what gets furbished on our credit reports. So if you have things on your credit report, if you have bills coming to you, okay, they are harassing you because there's no such thing as debt. Okay, in 1933, we remember, I went over, there's no gold. In 1965, they took away the silver. In 1933, they created HJR 192. There's no debt. So any bill coming at you, especially if you make it a paper statement, you don't ask for online stuff, you don't do those things, you make it a paper statement. You're creating a paper trail of harassment and abuse. Okay, because this is a corporation. It doesn't have a spirit. So it doesn't know how to know what your spirit is doing unless you tell it. So they don't know that they're harassing you until you let them know. And yes, sometimes we got to let them know utilizing the codes that they created because they are doing what they can to honor our free spirits and also make money off the system that has become corrupted, because that's just the way it happened with ignorance over time. Okay, so first off, it's important to know if, basically, for example, if you open up a credit card with Bank of America and you stop paying it, and then on your credit report it says charged off, that means that Bank of America sold that debt and it got paid. And then all of a sudden, a third party is going to start, like a lawyer or some company is going to say that they're representing Bank of America to come after you for this debt. Okay. This is a third party debt collector. And yes, it is lawful for them to purchase debt, but it's not lawful for them to purchase your information. This is an infringement upon your right to privacy, okay, which is in the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution for the United States and the Constitution of the United States, okay? In 15 USC 1692 D, harassment and abuse, you get to decide what that is. They can't contact you in work hours. We're going to go over a couple of them right here. So creditors, if they report your credit history inaccurately, this is defamation, financial injury. This is the precedent or the law. And then these are the extent of damages incurred by the wronged party as deemed by the courts. So A, court is the mail, and B, you're the one who gets to decide what the incurred damages are. So if credit reporters have inaccurately reported your history for quite some time and they won't not do it and you can't get a loan because of it and then you became homeless, that is a lot of incurred wrong. Okay? But if one doesn't speak, that means you're going silent by acquiescence and you're telling them that it's okay to do that to you. Okay? So, creditors, if you dispute a debt and they fail to report it as disputed to the credit bureaus, you're protected under the FCRA, section 623. This is $1,000 fine. So, I'm not saying go out there and be threatening these companies. This is just more of awareness of everything that you feel when you get things in your home, letters, whatever, emails, and they feel wrong. This is why, okay? Because they are doing things wrong. I will not say that the corporation is evil because the corporation doesn't have a soul, okay? But the people within the corporation are ignorant to the actual corporation laws, okay? Especially because in the corporation laws, they created the 14th Amendment, which allowed them to create statutes and things for all the citizens that have signed up for their corporation, which is why it's important to know that you're a United States citizen. You're not, unless you've claimed as a national. So, this is all great ways to hold collection agencies, credit bureaus, banks, all of them accountable with these things. And again, I will be sending all of this in the email. Here's some more. Collector, if they call you at work, oh my God, guess who gets to decide your work hours? You do. Oh my God. Collector, if they call you after 9 p.m. at night or before 8 a.m. Oh my gosh, they don't know what time zone you're living in. Oh, there's another thing. Collector, if they call any third party about your debt, friends, families, neighbors, relatives. Oof, I had people throwing service papers at my mom. Like, I love that they're serving my mom. I'm like, or sending it to my mom's house. Like, I never told them I lived there, you know? So, um, collection agency, if they use any kind of harassment or abuse, like these, we are protected as persons and people. Okay. And we are a people and we do business as a person. Okay. Or, you know, someone can throw out the the corporation altogether and they can just not use it at all. It's whatever, however they want to do. Now I'm gonna go into like addressing the creditors and all those things, and this is kind of just like a guide of me flowing, but yeah. Okay, so everything is contract law. Everything. A contract can be verbal or written. The three elements of a contract are offer, acceptance, and consideration. And then obviously, for contracting with corporations, there is a signature. You know, there's the signature, which is a corporation word for signing your name. You're signing your nature, um, you know, your living nature. Or there's the autograph, which is, you know, your living person signing. It really depends on how you want to create the contract, whether you want to be seen as a living person, which again, when dealing with corporations, it's not the easiest to be seen as a living person because again, a corporation is not going to be able to see your spirit, because that's not what they're built for. They are built to create jobs. They are built to create systems and things like that. And so you can offer, they can offer their service, their trade, their whatever they have to you, and you can either accept it, you can take it into consideration, whether you want to go to Walmart. Yes, yes, you utilize your straw man when dealing with the corporation instead of bash whatever it is that's going on, because it is built, it is made and created to help you. It's really all about our intention of things, you know, like some people utilize social media to destroy their self-esteem, some people utilize it to build it. Some people utilize it to scroll, some people utilize it to create a business and make money. It really depends on what you as an individual want to do with your energy. So there's a bunch of corporations out there offering, you have friends, family members, people in your life offering things because life is here working out for you. Yeah, yeah, your vessel. Your things are being offered to your vessel, corporations, and you can either accept or, and, you know, consider where you want to put your energy. Who do you want to contract with? What corporations make your life easier? You know, I personally love Amazon. You know, I don't order all the time, but I love that I don't have to leave my cave. I don't have to go anywhere and I can order anything I want and it can be here the next day. I like that about my life. Some people, yes, yes, exactly. Anything you receive, it's, well, it's basically, the thing is when you take in a contract and it's a bilateral, and that's what I was gonna go into, is comprehending contract law and you win. If you are already involved in contracts where you signed as a citizen, there is an expectation that you took that contract into consideration. You took that offer into consideration and you accepted it because you wanted a right that they offered to you as a privilege. So basically you wanted money so they offered it to you. They created a corporation that's able to give you that privilege. Okay? So are you able to create that money out of thin air? Do you know how to do that? Like if you were just by yourself, do you know how to create a shit ton of money out of thin air? No, you don't. But you did trust the government to do that with when, the parents signed up as a citizen and they agreed to become the trustee, they would uh trade the money on the stock market and they would create, you know, they would create money for us to benefit from. Now, if someone isn't aware of their benefits, then it would be easy for these contractors, these corporations to take advantage of that. So what I recommend is to ask the ones that you're already in for the contract. That's the first thing that you want to is comprehend the actual contract that you're in. Look and ask for where did I sign? What did I sign with you to agree to do this? And then decide whether you want to actually be involved in it. And if so, you're going to be doing things their way. Okay? Like, it's just like with the passport thing. It's still, people are still asking the corporation to change their status as a national. So when they go to the passport agencies, there are steps that people are asked to take to do this. Fill out an application, do this. Like if you want this status, write an explanatory statement. Like let us know that you want this status. Like, and but a lot of people are just listening to other people and they're not reading the contracts that they're in. They're just being told you're being, hoodwinked by your contracts, when really the hoodwinking is coming from the ignorance that the other side doesn't have, like the information that's missing on the other side that you guys have known and are learning today, which there is no debt. Okay, it's just the people in these corporations, they believe that there is. So until you educate them, things won't change in your life. Okay? So, because another thing is they have to have permission to sell your contract. So these third-party debt collectors, they're my favorite, to be honest, because you really can just talk to them on the phone and be like, oh, you paid off the debt from Bank of America? Oh wow. And they're like, yeah. So yeah, we're here to collect that from you. And I'm like, and it's like, no, you just told me that you paid it off. So thank you. And you're done with that. And you don't have to deal with that bank anymore. Now it's dealing with the credit reporting agency, because until you inform the credit reporting agency that the bank has, hey, look, there's a charge off. Hey, look, they've sold the account. Like until you let them know, they believe that they're meant to be furbishing what the corporations say about you. Okay. So, this is Holder in due course. This is, you can look this up, just these words, and it will say this. Only the original note holder is allowed to collect the debt. By original, it means that only the individual that has the original paperwork proof is allowed to collect the debt. So this is why we ask for the actual original contract that was signed from the very beginning. Because if they don't have it, even if it's the original bank, if they don't have it, they are not the holder in due course, and you can literally end the contract right then and there. And you can open up a new contract with that same bank if you want. But this time, you take their contracts the way they write it, and you write your own. You write your own. It's like a trust, like the God trusts in the David Straight process, but you don't have to utilize their codes. You don't have to utilize, their things. You can define what you mean at the bottom. Hey, you can invoke, like, I would like to have with my account HJR 192. It'll be backed by that. It'll be backed by my debts are paid, maybe you can agree to, oh, well, on my checks that I get from my company, like, they will be backed by 12 USC 411, which is saying that they're backed by gold. That you're you can make sure that your fraudulent or fiat money that's in the bank, or whatever the anti-corporation, whatever you want to call it, you can actually utilize one of their codes, 12 USC 411, to back your money and say, no, mine's backed with your guys' code that says this money is backed by gold. Even though there may not be gold, there may be gold, whatever there is. Like I said, they've created a code for basically every thought. And you don't need to know them. You don't need to know all the codes. Just follow your thought process. Know that there is a code for it. Type it in, like United States code, on whatever your thought process is, and you'll find the code that actually fits exactly what you need. Because that's all the Supreme Court has ruled the government as, is literally the codified imagination. The imagination of the mind. So if they got rid of, if you've been in a bank for 20 years and they got rid of the original instrument, they can't even keep collecting on you, and places get rid of their stuff after 7 years. So it's fraud. And it takes a little bit of time to feel comfortable writing these contracts, because at first when we start to write them, we're like, oh my God, we're writing this. Okay. But there's basically drafting letters. I want to go over. An affidavit of truth is a written statement confirmed by oath or affirmation for use as evidence in court. So confirmed by oath or affirmation, you can either get affidavit signed by 3 witnesses. It can also just be 2. I like to do 3. Get an affidavit signed by 3 witnesses, and these witnesses are not claiming that your truth is true or not. They're claiming that they know who you are. Okay, so your written statement confirmed by oath or affirmation is not 3 or 2 witnesses saying, yeah, I saw what happened. I know that they got messed up by whatever. They're in a false contract. They're only confirming that they know who you are. Okay, and that you are the person that wrote the affidavit of truth. Okay. You can also get it notarized by a notary. If you're dealing with actual court cases with the state or with civil stuff or all that, it's recommended to get the oath or affirmation by a notary, because the notary is backed by the Secretary of State. So you're basically respecting their system, you're respecting their system. What is a conditional acceptance? This is an acceptance of an allegation upon proof of claim. These are huge, you guys. Like telling a place that you will accept paying their debt if they can prove whatever you want them to prove. If they can prove that there's an original contract signed by you in wet ink. Meaning, like you signed it, and so they have the original piece of paper. I will say that online banks and online stuff, they have figured out a way through the statutes and through a lot of things to deny a lot of people of your rights to do some of these things. And because again, people signed their nature and they accepted, those contracts, I personally recommend getting out of those type of contracts as quickly as possible, unless they can create a paper trail for you. Like I've heard like Apple, like there's specific banks that will not give you paper statements. They will not give you the right to pay your bill through the money order system, which again, if you look at this, let me pull up on the screen, see if I'm okay. So if you look at this is a bill that's like they're saying I owe $5,900 from Hogue, and as you can see, how much I owe is a positive number. Okay, it's 5900. It's a positive number. If I were to owe something, it would be a negative number. This is actually, if you go to the bottom, you see all these numbers down here, all that. If you go to the bottom of a checkbook and you look at the bottom of each of your checks, there's a very similar looking number at the bottom there, because this is actually a money order. This is actually an accepted for value coupon. This is why it even says above the dotted line, detach coupon and return with your payment. Include the grantor ID and in the memo line of your check. Okay, and so they are coming from a space of pay out of your pocket because that's what you've all gotten used to, when there's actually an already working system where all debts are paid, where you actually just turn this in. Now, if you were to just turn it in to the address that they say turn this into, it's not going to work. Okay, this is just systematic billing that's going to be sent to you every month, no matter what, because it's a systematic billing. There's no person that's like, and if it's a person that's sending them out, it's because that's what they're paid to do. They don't know, they weren't told, hey, we're going against people's rights here, so be careful when you send out these letters. Like, no, they're actually following statutes and codes that by being citizens, people have agreed to be a part of. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, you actually need to involve the higher ups of the companies, the CFOs, the CEOs, the registered agents, the lawyers of the CEOs, the CFOs, and getting in contact with them, not in a threatening way, just informing, hey, I realized I got involved in a contract with you guys, and I realized that I didn't understand what I was getting myself into. Now that I do, I'm ready to change the contract. Okay. And because it's your right, they will work with you. They will, as long as you know how to ask. Okay. As long as you're willing to acknowledge, conditionally accept, hey, I will do everything that you said. I will pay this debt if you can actually prove to my living person that all of this other stuff isn't true, that there is such thing as debt, that there's actually money for us to pay debt with, and utilizing HAR. And again, I also have templates for this. They're called like bill already paid in full, that basically educate the reader on what's happening and stuff like that. And so I'll also send those to you. And that's when dealing with like creditors and stuff. When you're dealing with the credit reporting agencies, you're going to want to utilize, well, and the creditors, you want to utilize general dispute letters, this is where you're gathering evidence. Because remember, this is a corporation. They're not just gonna believe you because you said something. They don't care about your spirit. They don't care about your intention. Okay? They need a paper trail to see where they made the mistake to where they can fix it. Yes. When you do a money for that, that's what you're saying. You're saying yes, but the thing is it's not from the trust of your like social security that you've been earning. They take it from the trust that they've been earning. You know, that website where it's like, oh, put in your social and look how much they've been trading your social on the bank. Yeah. They've been creating like millions of dollars in our name for us to benefit from it. Okay, because we're the beneficiaries of the account. So yeah, they're going to take it from your trust, but they're not going to take it from your hard-earned trust. They're going to take it from the trust that they were, as a corporation, they had $2 million put in an account, or however, whatever age you're born in. I believe David Straight tells us it's like different numbers depending on the years you were born, because money was different values at the time. They take that money and they build on the stock market, and they build and they build. But most people are not educated on how to benefit from it. They're instead educated to fear it and to believe that it's in control and all those type of things. I will say there's a basic belief system that is different when it comes to rich people teaching their children, and when it comes to poor people teaching their children. Poor people teach their children that when you go to the dentist, you need to listen to the dentist because they went to school for 8 years, so they know what they're talking about when it comes to your teeth. You need to listen to them. So it keeps people in a state of listening to authorities outside of them, whereas rich people actually teach their children, hey, this person, they went to school on teeth for 8 years. They're going to be a great tool for you when when something's going on. They're going to be an amazing tool for you to utilize to learn what's going on inside your body. But it's up to you to discern and decide if this person's your friend or if this person is a tool that you're going to be utilizing to get to the place that you want to be. Okay, it's a completely different psychology, and it leads to a completely different mentality as an adult. Okay, basically everyone's your friend and everyone's there to help you, or everyone's there to control you and tell you what to do, and you have to do steps A, B, C, and D, and E to be liked and to be accepted by these places. So it's really belief system, psychology, whichever one resonates, whatever resonates with you works for you. Can you exhaust your corporate trust amount? I don't believe so. But the way it works though is they actually are super aware that not many people are ready to access this trust, which is why they've created a system like they have. So let me show you these. When people get to a certain point with me, that's when we bring in the idea of the 1099-A, which is the acquisition or abandonment of secured property, where basically you are able to find somebody to be your trustee and access your United States Treasury account and benefit from it. The only thing is there are regulations, because you are only allowed to buy things with your corporate trust account that can benefit you as an individual. So you can't buy an 18-wheeler bus with your corporate trust account. Why? Because you as an individual don't need that. You can't start a business with your corporate trust account. What you can buy is a house. You can buy a car, and you can get like 9 million for that house with one 1099-A, but all that money has to go to that house. If you want something else, you got to file another 1099-A. So it's going to be like, okay, well, I want what's going to benefit me in my life. Me, for example, I want LASIK. I don't want to be wearing glasses. I don't like it. I don't like wearing contacts, but I gotta wear them. And I'm perfect for LASIK. So like, I've found a trustee that's been willing to be the one that asks the Treasury for the money, and it takes the IRS some time, and then they give you the money, but it has to only be spent on what you get it for. Well, that's the thing, is it's not our money. It's the corporation's money, and they have created a system where they said, hey, we're willing to give you some of this if you're willing to become a citizen. Okay, we will give you access to this collective money stream that's behind everybody's individual, without just one person's BC, they would still have this money, because birth certificates are not the only identification number things that have been created. The thing is it's really to regulate that people don't need more than, they don't need a lot. We don't need so much stuff. That's been the regulation, is like people, for example, I'm pretty sure 98% of lottery winners are dead. There's one guy that decided to, when he won the lottery, he wanted to plate his balls gold, and he gold plated them and died. So Yes, and yes, without the slaves, they wouldn't have any of it. But the thing is we aren't slaves. It all depends on our perception. We are beneficiaries of that system that's working as long as we invoke that right to be a beneficiary. The more we victim out, the more we become victims. So if we choose to alter the perception and recognize that actually we can benefit from what's going on, and everyone can, there are already IRS paperwork. There's ready for people that want to benefit and access their trust by, just finding somebody else that they trust, like the bank that they already work with, or, some people have really found a person, a realtor, or someone that they really like working with. And so they educate that person on how to use a 1099-A and what forms to file and how I can actually just pay this house. I no, I know too many people that are from prosperity and all they do is give. All they do is give, give, give. So my perspective has not been greed. I'm someone who even I don't prosperous is money in, money out, money in, money out. You have to spend money to make money, spend money to make money. It's not like grab it and hold it. And I do feel that the elite spend a lot of money, which then comes back to them. So it's energy. That's why I started off with the universal law is number one. The more money you put out, the more money you get back. The more energy you put out, the more energy you get back. That's universal law. So without risk, there's no reward. And like, even for example, when the risk is bad intentional, God always cleans it up. Even with Black Lives Matter, there's been somebody fueling it, I think Soros or whatever, fueling it to create more, dispersion. But finally it came out and all of its investors are asking for their money back because it came to light that it's just a psyop. So, like God always does win. We're just here to focus on the contracts that we're in and let God take care of source, God, whatever, take care of the intention behind the collective. And then so an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. Oh yeah, these are some fun facts. So what determines what letter we use is it depends on what's coming at you. If you're in a mortgage, if you're in something where they are billing you monthly, you just give them a call. Hey, can you send me whenever you have the time? Can you send me the contract that we're in? Just the contract, that I signed in the beginning. This isn't something that they're hiding from you. Most people just don't ask for them. So you call it up and you ask for the contract that you're in, and then they'll mail it to you. And when you get it, you might see it's actually just a statement. Wait a minute, this isn't even a contract. Wait a minute. This isn't a contract. This is just what it is. So depending on what they give you, what they believe is a contract, you're the one that actually knows the living rights. You're the one that actually knows what a contract is. So you ask them first for what they have, let them send it to you. Now the ball's in your court. And because you got it sent in the mail, court has begun. Okay. So that's why some fun facts, unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. So if they send you that contract and you don't say anything within 30 days, that contract is truth. So you want to make sure that if you're asking them for the contract that you got, that you ready for when it gets there, that you're ready to respond. The affidavit must be reviewed point by point. So the contract, this is their form of an affidavit, even though there's no living person behind it. You must go through it point by point by point and decide whether or not you agree with what they're saying, or even ask questions. You might not even know what they're saying. Notaries are clerks or the court. Okay. So when you're, writing these letters, it's good to get them notarized. You don't have to, but it is recommended to at least get witnesses, at least two. So people that know you. And that's what makes it court. Okay. You're creating court, you're creating a paper trail, and you always want to make sure you, again, you're not going to be writing letters to the little guys. You're going to be writing letters to literally the CEO, the CFO. You're going to be like, hey, I called, I asked you guys to send me a contract. You did. Here's the contract. You don't have to have a stamp. I have my little exhibit stamp, and it creates little exhibit things. So basically you're going to go down the contract, highlight little areas and put exhibit A, what law is breaking, whatever. You don't, and this is what the correction, the CEO of the water district, basically you'd want to find out the name of the company and go to Dun and Bradstreet. Find the name of the company, go to Dun and Bradstreet, look them up. And it'll give you the CEO, like that. And then again, silence is acquiescence. So if you do not respond to these things, they will keep sending them, because you're telling them that they're allowed to. Okay. So it's very important that you understand the following. The certificate of live birth is a legal document that verifies you are alive. So, yeah, it would, well, there would be a specific company name that is, if they're, oh, well, it depends on if you're billing the actual water company, if you're doing the actual water company that bills you, or if you're going after the CEO of the water district, which in that sense, you kind of want to go to ewg.org, type in your zip code, and figure out what water plant is servicing your area, and then find the company that way, which is ewg.org, and go to tap water database. And that's how you would find out that way, I feel. But yeah, so a certificate of live birth is a legal document that verifies you are alive. And so the certificate is like, it can be anything. It can be the Bible, it can be a birth certificate, it can be any document that says that you were born and has two witnesses. Okay, the corporation has mastered this system by creating birth certificate. Okay, and that birth certificate is a legal document proving the formation of a corporation, aka US citizen. Okay. No, they are not telling people that, hey, when you sign up for this, you have to listen to all of our statutes, all of our codes, because that's just being embedded in people naturally. Okay, they don't have to tell people that, because word of mouth is already programming. Word of the world's mouth is already programming people with fear. You got to listen to this code, you got to listen to that code, you got to listen to this. So it's really, again, up to you. But yeah, the US citizen is a corporation and fictitious copy of you, which is the original man or woman. So you can either not give an F about this US citizen, and or you can utilize it as a tool. It really depends on how many contracts the US citizen that you got signed up to be, how many contracts it got itself involved in, and how much energy you're willing to put into getting out of it. Because you can also just become a national, self-declare, and change your status in the system as a national, and things get a lot easier for you. Because really, in their corporate system, instead of being a US citizen, instead of being a US citizen, there's let me show you here. Oops. Right here. So, let me share this with you guys. Wait, are you guys able to see this? Let me see. Are you guys able to see? Stop share and then reshare. There we go. Okay, so this is a code within their system, 09ALL. The bearer is a United States national and not a United States citizen. Okay, so this is an actual status within their system, that anyone can go with their passport to any passport agency and update their status. Hey, I want to update my status to national instead of citizen. Whoops, didn't even know I could do that. Fill out the paperwork correctly. You can also do it with your driver's license. You can do it with any contract that you've entered. You can literally update your status within it and say, you know what, I'm a national, I'm not a United States citizen. And you can start, doing things differently for yourself. It's really, really up to you whether you want to utilize the codes, whether you want to utilize the United States codes, whether you want to utilize your own, create your own contracts, the contracts that they already utilize. It's really up to you. So yeah, basically, when you were born, your parents were informed on your birth, creating a birth certificate of live birth, which was the genesis for your SS5 Social Security application. That application created, among other things, your Social Security account. That account, representing you when accessed through the right channels and in the right ways, has unlimited credit, which can set off any debt. Yes, it actually is. It is a most in my perspective, it's the balance, it's the balance of life, Tom. You get it. Like it's the same thing as the spiritual balance. It really depends on your intention. But yes, utilizing both the corporations and your living person, or and utilizing only the corporations that feel good to your living person, we realize that the contracts end up working in our favor when we are honoring ourselves. Well, that's the thing, is we aren't doing contracts as living people, because words aren't living. Words are just the vehicle to change reality. They aren't what's actually changing it. So to contract with another, you are basically in your own way doing business as something other than your living spirit. So that's why it's your vessel, your body. Some people work harder. They use like their actual body to make money. Some people work smarter. They think about things, they do things differently. So yes, it is legitimate as long as you, the living person, is the one taking the time to consider the offers and to accept them. If you're not taking the consideration and you're not reading the actual contracts that you're getting in, oh my God, it's really going to feel like a punch in the face when you realize what you signed up for. But if you ask yourself, did you read every word of a contract of a mortgage before you got into it? Did you read every contract that you got in, all the fine print, and understand what they meant? Yeah, even as a national, you're still going to be creating, you know, a national can create their own name, you know, but it's still they're still utilizing the United States codes. They're still utilizing the corporation or the government's codes to work with the corporation, because the corporation has been around since 1871, fam. It's not a corporation that's just going to crash because we're realizing what's not working. No, we actually just are going in and telling them, hey, this isn't working. Let's correct this. And then I'm willing to continue doing business with you. If you're not willing to correct this, I'm going to close this account and I'm going somewhere else. Because if people aren't willing to say no to the corporations that aren't doing what they want, then they can take that elsewhere. Okay, well, I'd like to refinance. I'm going to refinance with another bank. I'm going to do this with another bank. I'm going to take the $100,000 or $500,000 mortgage loan, and I'm going to take it to another bank. Okay, because you don't want to do things the way I want to do things, I'm going to refinance with another bank. And you go and find that other bank that will do the HJR 192, that will do it, you know. But if you're not willing to find, you know, to be yourself, which allows you to find the people that are there to take care of you, and you're not willing to say no, just because someone becomes a national doesn't mean that they're protected from just signing things and getting out of them. We are national is actually taking account of this ability and recognizing we're done signing things without reading them. We're reading every word and we're finding out the definition. And if we don't agree with it, we're changing it. We're saying, hey, no, this isn't what I want because I'm the creator of the money here. So I get what I want. So if a place will not do the contract that you want, you go to another place. If it's a place like you know, if there's a monopoly on something or whatever, like there's electrical companies, there's water companies that have become monopolies in certain places. What you can do is close the account on good standing. Hey, I'm moving. I'm moving. Can you close my account? Can you close off my account? Cool. They'll send you an email where it's canceled. Okay. 5 minutes, you hang up, 5 minutes goes by, you're gonna call and there's gonna be another person that answers because it's a corporation. Hey, I'd like to open an account. Oh, actually, no, I would like to make sure that all the contracts are on paper and that I sign in you know, in a wet ink. So I would like the contract to be sent to me to this email before I sign. And oh, well, actually, no, because this is a monopoly. Like I can't go anywhere else and I have rights. I have constitutional rights to this service. So can I talk to your manager? Okay. And you wait for their manager. Okay. You do the same thing. Hey, I would like to open up an account with you guys. I've got my social. I'm the beneficiary of this account. I would like to make sure of the contract before I sign it. So can you please send me the contract? And then, you know, all that stuff. You can take the contract, write it the way you want to in the same, you know, format that they have it to make it easier for them. You can scan it in, you can do whatever. You know, we got a lot of technology these days, and you return the contract the way you want it to be, you know, invoking HJR 192, blah, 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 all that you know, or that you learn depending on what corporation that you're working with. And then what United States codes back what you're doing, or what constitution, what amendment, you know, and you hold them accountable. Okay. The ability is mandated by the government going way back. That's why when we do the banker's acceptance and money order, we reference a couple different versions of your social security number with and without dashes. These are your account numbers that have unlimited ability to bring positive any claim of indebtedness. Remember, the government took away the gold and silver, which basically acted as our functional ability to pay for anything. Since we've only had essentially play money to use ever since, debts constantly and organically accrue. Oh, wait, let me make this bigger. Sorry, guys. There we go. Constantly and organically accrue, of which the government agreed to pay, whether they be public or private. Okay, those debts are paid through the IRS out of your account at the Department of Treasury. So on all of our money orders, we pay whatever the amount is to the United States Treasury, which then pays whatever the corporation is claiming as the debt with a draft. So the corporation, it satisfies their debt because it comes to them in the form of a check or electronic draft. To us, we're satisfied because the debt was settled in full without our needing to work, expending energy to earn enough cash or promissory notes to pay the thing through more traditional means, meaning using another instrument of debt to try to pay a debt. The Department of Treasury houses your unlimited credit account. Okay, so that's another thing is I will also be sending information on that's like pretty much what I'm, you know, going into. I'm going to be sending, I'm going to stay open for any questions or whatever for any of you guys that are on here, but I am going to be sending a lot of information in the email with this recording, and also information on 1099As and how to benefit and how to fill out a 1099A to pay off a debt, to do that kind of thing. And I ordered specifically from the IRS. I have 200 of them. So like I'm not in short supply. Yes, absolutely. I'm here to help as much as I can. And I do know that in certain streams they say don't utilize 1099As. And that's because again, a lot of people are in the slave mindset, and they just want to get $1 million to buy a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't work like that. You have to be organized, in an organized state of mind to say, I want my house, I want my car, you know, and this is going to include, you know, enough money to pay for the house, for the house that you want, which maybe is 1.5 million, how much the actual redoing the house is going to cost, the house insurance for a year. You know, you want to include all of that in the amount that you want. And then the car insurance, the car, whatever, you know, whatever you want for your car, all that in another one. If you wanted a Sea-Doo, I don't know, if you want a boat, if you want to pay off a debt, like to a person, if you want to pay off a debt to a company, but they all have to be different ones, you know, and you have to find somebody that you trust at a bank or at a place, that a corporation, a bank that's willing to take these and file it, you know, with the IRS, or there's also ways to file it yourself and do that. And so I'll be sending the videos and you guys can discern whether or not this is something that feels like it works for you. Because again, I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm just here to promote all the options that are available out there, things that I've found. And yeah, does anybody have any questions about anything that y'all are going through? You can unmute or whatever.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, my
Yeah.
understanding, congratulations on being a state national. Yay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So the question I have is based on what I've been listening to with David and all the videos and all the posts that I've been able to read on the Telegram chats. And it seems reasonable. Also, I saw a YouTube video. And this was an older one where prosecutor went all the way ahead and backed the banker in the corner. And he finally admitted that they didn't create money out of thin air. They got it from the people's trust in so many words. So is it a way to prove that? And like where I am now, I'm not quite ready to do my passport application, but I'm working there. And then also a car loan. The same thing happens. Your signature allows them to get money from your trust to pay the loan or the house, and then they use a management fee. They charge you a management fee to pay it back to them, which was your money anyway. So that's how they plus interest. So that's the question. How does one go about proving to them that you know that they got it from your trust?
So basically, that's not what you're trying to prove, because when you signed, you gave them access to your trust. That was the whole point of your signature. So what you're trying to prove is that the debt isn't even real, that the debt was paid for the moment you signed as well. Yes, it was created, but also it was paid for, which is through HJR 192. It's literally whoa, there's not even gold for me to pay this back. Like, how are you even expecting anyone to pay this back? And people have been working their asses off because of this false expectation to pay it back. Because when they read the contract, they thought they had to pay it out of their own money because they didn't even ask. Hey, well, wait a minute. They didn't know the history. They didn't know, like, well, wait a minute, there's no gold. How they didn't know that debts can only be paid in gold and silver. They don't know those things. So the real problem is ignorance. And the people in these corporations are ignorant to that all corporations have to abide by the Constitution. So, and abide by their own laws that they created, which is HJR 192. So we don't need to prove going all the way back to the trust. We just got to prove that you're the beneficiary of it. Hey, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be benefiting from the decisions that are made from you guys. And because I've been silent, you guys haven't known that I haven't been benefiting, because I actually told you I was okay with paying this out of my pocket because I have been doing it. You know, people have been going silent by acquiescence by actually paying out of their pocket. So, well, yeah.
I get all that, but how do you discharge it from this point?
Oh, so basically you call them up, and you ask them for the original contract, the holder that okay, I'd like to see the original contract that was signed so that I can make sure you don't even have to give them a so, literally calling them and asking them for the contract is your right, and they'll do it. They're not hiding it. They'll be like, okay, can you give us the address that you want to send it to? Yes, you give them the address, and they'll be like, it'll take us, you know, probably maybe they'll say 3 to 5, maybe they'll say 7 to 10 business days. Okay, cool. All right, so then when you get it, that's when you start. You start reading it, and that's when all of a sudden, all the stuff you've been taking in from David, you're gonna see, oh my God, I signed a contract without knowing what I was actually signing. And now that you have the knowledge, you will be able to see how to get yourself out of it. And that's where I'm also like, once you have that contract, it's like, yo, there's something you don't understand, you email it to me, I'll read it, I can understand it. And then I'll be like, yo, this is where they got you. This is where they broke the law. This is where the codes are. And then we'll write down on the contract in red ink where what codes they're breaking. Does that make sense? And then you send it back to them, and that's your exhibits. This is your paper trail. Well, hey, wait a minute. I just learned that you guys are a corporation and you have to abide by the UCC codes. So here are the codes that you guys are breaking. Did you know? You know, like it's kind of like, oh, no, they didn't. Well, how would you like to proceed from here? Does that make sense? And you actually it just takes time. It's not a quick fix. It's okay, let me call for the contract, let me go over the contract. Within 30 days, you get back to them. Then they have 30 days to get back to you. So most people, you know, once they're sent the original contract, they think that they're done. When no, there's going to be a decent amount of corrections, unless, you know, once you can actually get to a point where, hey, you know what, I've actually realized, because you guys are breaking all these laws and I can prove it, I'd like to just close the account. I'd like to close the account, and I'm going to take my business elsewhere. And then you'll see they'll change real quick, because you're taking that, you know, if a mortgage is $500,000, you're taking that $500,000 that they were just able to play with, and you're going to take it to another bank and let another bank play with it.
Well, it's a
Does
car
that
loan.
make sense?
It's car loan.
Yeah. Okay. So car loan, you know, so yeah.
I just want to discharge the debt.
Yeah. So, that can only why David and all them say, you can't just discharge the debt until you're a national, is because as a US citizen, you signed. And so they assumed,
Yeah.
and you know, that you came from a place of having accepted and read all that. So, but as a citizen, you can ask for the contract again at any time, and then create your received. Wait, I just actually understood this contract and I realized you're going against my rights. And so I'd like to change that. And so that's where, that's how you get out of the debt, but it's not discharged, because that's where it would be like, you get out of the debt, you get them to stop coming after you for it, and then you clean up with the credit reporting agency. Citizens have to do a little bit more work than nationals. That's all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm
So
not.
yeah.
I'm thinking ahead.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I know you're gonna be a national, so once you get there, it is a lot easier, because within the system, again, you're no longer a US citizen, so it's easier to claim things. Yeah, Kathleen.
Unmute. Hey, thanks, Shana Marie. For the contract for the mortgage, would that be the promissory note?
Well, no, the promissory note is basically like promissory note is like the promise that you're gonna pay it.
Yeah, and that's the instrument they used to get
Yeah,
my money, right? The reason
exactly.
I'm asking, because I know I sent you that letter that we looked at that I was gonna send to the mortgage company. Do you think I need to ask for a contract first? I mean, I probably have it all in the files because I built a house and got the, the loan to build the house and then it converted to a mortgage. So I have all the paperwork. Or can
Yeah,
I just
what
go
you're,
to the letter?
yeah, why it's recommended to call them again is because basically this would be your first time standing up. You're standing up, you're making noise, and you're saying, hey, I'd like to see the contract. Can you send it to me in the mail? You
Okay,
want to make sure to get a paper trail of it, because if they don't even have the original contract, whoa,
yeah, well, no, all
whoa,
they're gonna
what are
have
you
is
even
my
doing?
signature. But all they're gonna have
Yeah.
is my signature. They're not gonna have an actual contract,
And
right?
that's okay, because that's not what you're going after. You're gonna be actually going after the words that they utilized, that now, because you've been doing this, the research that you have been, you know that they used words to trick you into something. And so you're just going to be correcting that. It's
Okay,
not like, hey, I'm gonna stab you back because you stabbed me. It's, hey, I'm gonna assume the best, that you didn't even know that you were stabbing me in the back. And I'm just gonna inform you and communicate what stabbing me in the back actually looks like. And let you know to stop doing it because you're
okay,
infringing on my rights.
okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's
Thank
really
you.
about the intention. You're coming from a space of correction rather than fear or attack or I can't believe you did this to me, you know?
Okay,
Um, does
so you
anybody else
could,
have any? Oh yeah,
yeah, I was just gonna say, so you could do an affidavit of truth and go through all the points of the contract that are not lawful and send that.
yes,
You could do that as well, right? Okay,
exactly, exactly. And by you getting the contract in the mail, that begins court. That's what gives
understood.
you the right. You already opened court with them. It's just
Right,
make copies of everything that they send you, highlight, write in red the laws that they're breaking. And that's again what I'm here for. Like
okay,
I have dove deep into the codes. So like I know a
yes, no,
lot of them.
okay.
But it's really easy to find them when you actually know what you're looking for.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
great, thanks, Marie.
absolutely. Does anybody else have any questions for today? And if not, you can simmer with this. And if you ever have questions, I'll be getting the recording out within a few days, probably actually next week after Tuesday. I got a big day Tuesday. But yeah, does anybody else have any questions? No? Sweet. Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking this time, you guys. I really, really appreciate you. Um, uh, Perfect. The debt value is 0, so therefore. Yes, when you purchase a property and you sign with a bank, that debt is created and paid in full immediately. Now, not every realtor or every bank actually knows that, so it's up to you to kind of actually, ask a bank like, hey, can I see I'd like to open an account with you. Can I see the contract that you guys have? And I'm going to take it home before I sign it. And then you go home and you see how they write their contracts and you actually type up your own. Type up your own in the same format and put your words and then define what you mean by them. And then you'll put like, my money will be backed by HJR. This is called trust creating, common law trusts, so you have the bank is running through a trust account that you trust because you created the words that are going down into it. Okay, because you can trust yourself. Can't really trust anybody else with your money, with your spirit, with your innards, because it's yours. So yeah, it's all it's all beautiful, and just know that it's not instantly gratifying. It does take time, and it's a beautiful process of self-learning and self-determination, self-actualization, self-realization, and communication and articulation. So again, thank you all so much for taking this time. I really appreciate you, and I will send you guys out the things, the link, and templates and things. And then let me know if you guys have any like questions. Let me know. Love you guys. Bye.